Hey guys, it's William here. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about science fiction and discrimination. I'm a huge fan of science fiction. I probably watched Star Wars 100 times when I was a kid. I read all kinds of science fiction books and watched everything I could get my hands on. Of course, I'm not as crazy as I used to be, but I still read when I can. So why am I telling you this? Well, because I love science fiction and I want to experience all of it, and you can't do that when a significant portion of it is being covered up through discrimination and censorship. So the two main factors people are being judged on are gender and race. Nothing new, right? It's always those two. Well, I wanted to take a look at two amazing science fiction authors that both had trouble getting their work out there because of their race or gender. Those are Samuel Delany, one of my favorite authors, and Octavia Butler. They're both black, and Octavia was a woman, while Samuel is gay. So they both belong to some different minorities, all of them with discrimination problems. Let's start with Delany. He's a gay, black science fiction author, which is pretty scary stuff at the time. Anyway, I was reading an interview he did a while back, and he was talking about how hard it was for him to start out and get his work published. He had submitted his novel Nova for serialization, but it was rejected because they felt his readership wouldn't be able to relate to a black main character. And then, a few years later at an awards ceremony where he was the recipient, the host began to go on a rant about how the organization was losing its focus and drifting from its roots and so on. While his name wasn't explicitly mentioned, it was clearly aimed at him for winning over the white authors that had won previous years. And he continued to deal with this racism for another 20 years until people started to move on from the color issue. So let's move on to Octavia Butler. She often used her literary work to promote ideas or issues she saw in the world. Her most popular book, Kindred, was written as a parallel to the discrimination she faced in her own life. The book is about a young black woman who is taken back in time to a 19th century plantation that her family worked on. The woman then has to deal with the extreme hatred and racism her family suffered 100 years ago. Butler said in an interview, while explaining why this is her most successful novel, is that people like to read what it's like to have all of society against you. And her novel Fledgling is a vampire novel about trying to fit into a community that doesn't want to accept you. Octavia was amazing at using her books to spread her messages about what was wrong in the world today. Okay, so we can definitely see that there's been discrimination in the genre, and there's still some in places today. So what do we do about it? Well, this is a very complex question that exists in almost every medium because there's discrimination of some sort in every medium. Today it's shifted more from race to gender, but it still exists regardless. Today, feminist movements around the world have started to gain attention more so than in the past, and things are slowly moving towards equality, but it's a long process. And as soon as one group is considered equal, there's another that's being repressed somewhere else. But it's worth fighting for each new group as well, and maybe one day science fiction, and all literature for that matter, will be free of discrimination. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling on about things being unfair. Thanks for listening. See ya.